Hey guys, I just wanted to make another video. I recently saw the video of Clavicular stealing a guy's girl at a club. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. It was a hard black pill to swallow. It was a harsh truth. Um, it was pretty brutal, and I want to talk about what I would do in that situation if a girl or if my girl uh, were to be stolen by a much more good looking man. I would honestly react in the same way. Uh, Almost. I would probably like as soon as I see a Chad steal my girl and I see my girl willingly go with them, I would immediately just disappear or back off, and or I would even, and if the Chad were to make uh if the Chad were to interact with me, I would just be straight up like, you're you're the better man. The same words that the guy used in the video. And yeah, I would just fucking leave. I would be much more uh, confrontational, but yeah, I wouldn't stick around very long. I'd probably be gone in the next 5 seconds as soon as I see, they're basically at each other's throats. Like the girl was really fawning for clavicular, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Honestly, it's just human nature, I guess. Um, yeah, it's a mog or be mogged world, and yeah, I just would just, what's the word? I would man, it escapes me, but I would just leave. But yeah, the video was pretty brutal to watch. You know, I listened to to Clavicular's friends talk about him. They said he became good looking after puberty, and then he became rich like right after, like no more poverty. Like his financial issues were gone, and then he became above the law. Like he Clavicular got caught with drugs, and I mean, he ran over a guy with his Cybertruck, and the next day the judge decided to drop all the charges and like just absolve him of any wrongdoing. I mean, maybe the judge showed mercy because he was a young guy. So I mean, I could kind of understand. I guess younger guys, especially younger, good-looking guys, they get uh like people go easy on them, and rightly so. I think that's how it should be. Like Chad should win. Um, but yeah, but back to me. I'm I'm still finding myself in the world. I know I'm 27. I should have found myself like 10 years ago, but I just went through a lot of um I don't know what happened with my life. My life just didn't, it just didn't go right. It's just bad luck. I had a lot of bad luck. Clavicular's just a really lucky guy. Like he won the genetic lottery. Uh, he surrounded himself with influential people like Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Nick Fuentes, like all these influential people. Like I have nobody on my side. I'm just a loner, or I'm a lone wolf. I mean, I hope I can change that, but yeah, it kind of sucks that I have to be poor. I have to work hard for the things that I want, and even then, it still comes out short. Like I'm still short. Like it's not enough. So yeah, I'm trying to get a gaming PC, upgrade my old PC. I I I just don't have any means of. I just don't have many things going for me. Like I just need to wait and plan meticulously. I might go back to college. Um, I'm still trying. I still care. But yeah, it does. Seeing that video, uh, a clavicular having, just girls lined up for him, like, and they orbit him. That's, every man wants to have that. I feel like for me, if I were, like replicate that, I would have to become like a rapper or an entertainer, like, and as Clavicular would say, I would have to be a jester. And yeah, I mean, I guess rapping or being an entertainment in general, you just put on a good show. Like I would have no problem with that. I'm short. I'm 5'7". I'm ethnic, so it's like I don't really have many. There's not a lot of like options for me. I just think being a rapper is my calling. I don't know, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Like maybe it's gonna be a total disaster. But I really like music. Um, I'm still debating of whether I should do I go for my passion, or do I just pick a different route and give up on music and look for a real job such as accounting. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it if they would just let me in, like, cut me some slack. I know I'm not the smartest, or I can't fucking get every answer right or every question right, but I do try. I'm trustworthy, like, people can trust me with their money. I'll never take out a dime unless they want me to have it. But, I'm just I don't know. I just don't touch money that isn't mine. Um, so yeah, what else can I talk about? Um, I'm cleaning my room, and I'm looking for things to do. Yeah, maybe I'll start reading some books. Like that's where I'm at right now. And yeah, I have a book right here. Overcoming Anxiety and Depression. This is a book that was gifted to me from my college. And yeah, maybe I'll start reading it. Like I'm at that point, like I'm on my knees. I have no money. I have no skills. Like I don't know what to do. I guess I just need equipment. Like I need a PC. I need yeah, like a gaming PC so I can, so in case that doesn't work, I can become a streamer maybe, but yeah, I'm still kind of far away from that. I have to be patient. I guess I'll read an excerpt. I'll just start reading right here. So, I think I'm gonna skip the prologue. I just want to read the first chapter. Okay, and what is this? This says the disturbed mind. That's what I would call myself. I'm emotionally disturbed. The disturbed mind, fears, phobias, compulsions, and obsessions. Here, I'm gonna put on my glasses and look more professional. Anxiety is a thin stream of fear trickling through the mind. If encouraged, it cuts a channel into which all other thoughts are drained. One day, Death was walking toward a city in a far country. A man on the road stopped Death and asked, "Where are you going, and what do you intend to do?" Death smiled and said, "I'm going to the nearby town to kill 10,000 people." The man said, "That's horrible." Death replied, "That's the way it is. That's what I do." So the day passed. Later, the man on the road again met Death. This time, Death was coming back from the city. The man said, "You told me that you were going to kill 10,000 people. I heard that 70,000 people died in the city." Death responded, "Well, that's what happened. I only killed 10,000 people. Worry and fear killed the others." I see where this is going. Horace Walpole suggests, "We are largely the playthings of our fears. To one, fear of the dark. To another, a physical pain." Sorry, my voice is fucking nasally because I have trouble breathing through my nose. So where was I? To a third of public ridicule, to a fourth of poverty, to a fifth of loneliness. Those are two of my fears, loneliness and poverty, which I think I have them both. For all of us, our particular creature waits in ambush. For Kimberly, however, it was not that easy. She could not put her finger on a specific problem. For the past 6 months, she had been living her life with the constant thought that something bad was going to happen to her, a painful apprehension of some impending evil. That I understand. Like, if you fear, sometimes there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Like, let me just keep going. Physically, she was feeling constantly fatigued. She had difficulties concentrating on anything. Even in conversations with friends, she found her mind drifting off. Only when someone asked her a question about what had been said did she realize that she hadn't been really listening. It put her in many embarrassing situations. She began to notice a great deal of muscle tension in her body. She often woke up with a stiff neck and aches in her back. Her friends and family began to notice an increase in irritability. This was compounded by her inability to get a good night's sleep. Often she had difficulty going to sleep. If that was not bad enough, she tossed and turned and woke up early in the morning. She was beginning to feel like a physical wreck. Hold on, there's like a side note here. It says the direct cost of mental health services in the United States is over 70 billion. Indirect costs for mental health services is estimated to be $78 billion. This refers to lost productivity at the workplace, school, and home due to premature death or disability. Kimberly's performance at work was dropping. She was often on edge and fidgety. She was constantly worried about her health, her financial problems, and an increasing communication difficulty in an important relationship. She felt as if she couldn't control her thoughts and emotions. Her worries were increasingly consistent and unrealistic. She began to wonder if she was going crazy. Kimberly is experiencing generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD. It is one of the 7 major types of anxiety disorders listed in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5, used by mental health practitioners. Garth had a little more focused problem. He never seemed to feel comfortable in social situations. He met someone new only if a friend introduced him. He just couldn't get up the courage to approach a stranger and make an acquaintance. The closest he had come to this was to ask a salesperson a question. Although that was difficult, Garth reassured himself that he didn't have to carry on a conversation with the salesperson. Garth's fear of meeting new people and talking with them made going to parties very difficult. Looking people in the eye, especially members of the opposite sex, was also challenging. Although he wanted to have a dating relationship, he was too shy to approach any female. He just hung around the guys and listened to them talk about sports, politics, or girls. Rarely did he contribute anything. The topics of politics, religion, or sex were too embarrassing for him. In fact, the thought of. So, yeah, I mean, I would have trouble speaking to people because, well, one, politics is a very touchy subject. Religion, I just don't believe in God. And, yeah, sex, I don't have many stories to tell. In fact, the thought of speaking in public gave him stomachache and a dry throat. Public restrooms created another problem for Garth. He hated to use them if other people were standing near. Oh, I have that same problem. Not for piss. If I have to take a piss, that I can do with no problem. But if I have to take a shit and there's another person in the stall, I do feel some kind of anxiety. But I try to get over it. I mean, I guess I have to get over this fear. He hated to use them if other people were standing near, and even worse, if a line was behind him. Functioning was almost impossible. One time, someone who was waiting said, "Hurry up." That pressure was too much. Garth couldn't even complete his task. Okay, so now we're talking about a new person. In the beginning, it was Kimberly. Now it's Garth. Garth's difficulty in social situations did not help him at work. Business meetings and committee groups were also difficult for him. Any type of negative discussions caused them to shrivel up inside. Yeah, I kind of have that same reaction. If I'm criticized, I start to feel like a personal attack. But yeah, I know I think after some exposure to criticism, you'll just learn to like take it at face value. Everyone should be able to take, what's the word, something criticism, helpful criticism. I forgot what it was. Constructive criticism, that's the word from high school. So criticism destroyed him. Any type of tense situation caused his heart to palpitate. Yeah, I kind of went through the same thing before, but now I learned to follow things through. But yeah, before, if like a manager were to say, like, meet me in my office. I would immediately think it's a bad thing, but once you get to the office and you talk, you find out it wasn't bad after all. It was just standard procedure of some sort. Criticism destroyed him. Any type of tense situation caused his heart to palpitate. Meetings ranked right up there with asking for help or directions. Yeah, I have trouble with this. Asking for help or directions. I usually do it on my own, but I have to learn to ask for help. Like, it's allowed, or sometimes it's even the more direct route to solving a problem. The thought of talking with a superior at work caused him to shake. Yeah, even with me. Like, I still, I just feel uneasy around people of authority, such as a police officer or a boss. The thought of talking with a superior at work caused him to shake. He wouldn't think of approaching his boss about a raise. He would almost rather quit than do that. It would cause too much muscle tension, sweating, and headaches. Garth is suffering from social phobia. Yeah, I have a little bit of that. Individuals with social phobia often have difficulty speaking in front of others or starting a conversation. The thought of asking someone for a day creates anxious feelings. Those feelings intensify if the person is forced to confront someone concerning an issue that has any type of conflict attached to it. Any confrontation would require a great deal of pre-planning. People who experience social phobia have a tendency to wear extra deodorant, cover their face with hair, keep their jackets on indoors, not want to use public restrooms, sit at the edge of a room or group, hold a cup or glass with both hands, ask questions to avoid self-exposure. Find it difficult to ask someone off for a date, have a hard time looking people in the eye, hold on to objects like pillows or magazines, pretend to be studying some object of interest to avoid interaction, talk with their hand in front of their mouth, wondering if they have had bad breath, speak little and not disclose much information about themselves. They may speak quickly to get it over with or slowly to carefully think out what they are saying. Think thoughts like these: I look silly, they won't like me, I'm going to blow this, I won't know what to say, I wonder if my breath is bad, they'll find out how stupid I am. David Millinger and Stephen J. Lynn, in their book The Monster in the Cave, mention that as many as 40% of college students describe themselves as shy, and that shyness per se is not problematic unless it begins to interfere with everyday functioning or causes undue stress. Tiffany had similar problems to Garth's. The difference was that she had stunningly intense fear and anxiety. The intense fear came in the form of panic attacks. The attacks came swiftly and without much warning. She had an overwhelming desire to escape or run away. She experienced shortness of breath, feelings of choking, and chest pain. Sometimes she felt dizzy, nauseated, and as if she was losing control. Sometimes she felt as if she were having a heart attack. When the panic attacks occurred, Tiffany felt as if she were going to die or go stark, raving mad. She was certain that the men in white coats were coming to take her to an insane asylum. Somehow she often felt as if she would embarrass herself, be harmed by someone like a mugger, or not be able to go to the toilet in time. During these attacks, Tiffany repeated thoughts and words to herself. She clutched things like pillows for comfort, and she paced rapidly back and forth. She constantly looked around for signs of danger. For some reason, females seem to experience panic attacks more often than men. The word panic derives from the god Pan, the god of the woods. People believed he made weird sounds at night in the forest and struck fear into the hearts of shepherds or travelers. His victims were overcome by fear. His victims were overcome by sudden waves of terror and ran for their lives. That is how Tiffany felt, as if she were running for her life. The panic attacks usually subsided after about 30 minutes, leaving her exhausted and fearful that they might return. Darby didn't suffer from panic attacks. She avoided situations where they might possibly occur. She locked herself into her apartment and shut the blinds. It seemed to be the only place where she felt comfortable. She didn't want to venture out into a world where something could happen to her. Darby didn't want to get trapped in closed spaces like elevators or stairwells. She didn't want to get exposed to some potential danger in open fields. An animal could attack her. She did not want to be in public places where a group of people might begin to move close to her and somehow crush her so she could not breathe. Standing in long lines or using public restrooms could expose her to disease and germs. Stampeding crowds and pushy people could harm her in a stadium. She might get trampled or pushed down the stairs. The thought of traveling on a bus, a train, or an airplane was overwhelming for Darby. She could barely, on rare occasions, travel in a car. She couldn't even consider driving in the mountains or crossing bridges. If Darby did venture out from her apartment, she had to have a friend with her. Darby struggles with agoraphobia. The Guinness Book of World Records contains the story of a woman who developed a benign ovarian tumor. She had agoraphobia and was afraid to leave her home so her doctors could deal with her tumor. Because of her fear of going out of her house, the tumor grew to an unbelievable 303 pounds. Carlos also suffers from intense fear that borders on terror and helplessness. He recently returned from the Iraq War and has quickly withdrawn from his family and friends. He was exposed to many traumatic battles where fellow soldiers were blown apart by roadside bombs. He had to pick up his friends' severed limbs and body parts. A month before his tour of duty was over, Carlos was in a firefight and was hit by a bullet. It shattered his kneecap, and his leg had to be amputated just above the knee. Since his return home, he avoids any conversations associated with what he witnessed and personally experienced. He avoids any friendships with other returning soldiers. He has withdrawn from family and community activities that he enjoyed before going to war. Carlos seemed to be detaching from all of his loved ones and friends. He appears to prefer seclusion. His family is aware that he has had a difficult time falling asleep and staying asleep. They know he has nightmares and flashbacks of the events he experienced. He has become more irritable and even displays outbursts of anger. When any loud noise occurs, Carlos has an exaggerated, startle response. When his family or friends try to talk to him about what is going on, he just clams up and withdraws emotionally. He seems to be stuck in the past. Carlos is struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder. Andrea's fears take on a different shape. They display themselves by persistent thoughts or impulses. These thoughts and impulses go far beyond simply excessive worries about real-life problems. They take the form of obsessive-compulsive disorder. Andrea constantly deals with obsessions which manifest themselves as repetitive and uncontrollable thoughts. She talks to herself, saying things like, "I'm no good, I can't do anything right," or "I always make a fool of myself." She is constantly counting to herself and repeating certain words over and over. Andrea has a difficult time making decisions. She doesn't believe her thinking is clear enough. Her obsessive thoughts have turned into obsessive actions. She washes her hands over and over. She doesn't trust her memory. You know, I kind of have the same problem. Sometimes I don't trust myself or I don't trust my memory. And so I do the things over and over again just in case I forgot. But I'm getting better at that. Like, she always double and triple checks to see if the door is locked. Yeah, I used to do that. I used to double check, triple check. I don't know. I think it creates like it kind of like satisfies you because I forgot. Um, the lights are turned out and the iron is unplugged. Sometimes she even reopens envelopes she has just sealed to make sure she included and filled out everything correctly. Andrea's obsessions have turned into compulsive behaviors. She now has to touch a certain piece of furniture each time she passes, or she will feel as if something bad will happen. She has become like the little child who was told, "Don't step on a crack or you'll break your mother's back." She has developed rituals that have overtaken her life and negatively affected her family, but she can't seem to stop them. Her anxieties have grown from small creatures to monstrous giants controlling her thoughts and actions. We think babies are cute when they cannot go to sleep without their special blankets or teddy bears, but adults are not funny or cute when they must go through rituals of touching certain things in the house before they go to bed. To help clarify the difference between obsessions and compulsions, remember this: an obsession is usually a mental process, a compulsion is usually a physical process. With an obsession, the individual has an idea or a series of ideas that frequently and tenaciously reoccur. The preoccupation with these fixed ideas or unwanted feelings often interferes with the normal thinking process. The individual feels mentally harassed by these thoughts. For example, obsessive people become anxious and worry a great deal about being physically attacked in public. These thoughts of possibly being hurt begin to overwhelm them. They envision being victims of a burglary, an assault, or a carjacking. These thoughts fill their minds throughout the day and night, whether they are based on reality or simply imagined. Obsessives begin to live their lives in mental fear. A compulsion, on the other hand, is an irresistible impulse to perform a specific act regardless of the rationality or motivation behind it. This reaction may be contrary to one's better judgment. The physical act temporarily releases some of the inner tension and reduces the anxiety the individual is feeling. Compulsive individuals often fall into two categories: checkers and cleaners. Two major themes seem to be common with obsessive compulsive people. The first involves dirt and contamination, and the second has to do with aggression or harm. People who are afraid of being physically attacked might compulsively carry a cane or umbrella to ward off an attacker. They might also carry a can of pepper spray. Compulsive people take protective devices with them when they go out in public. They constantly look around to see who might attack them. Their inner fears are carried. And yeah, I think I'm gonna stop there. Hold on, let me just get a bookmark. So yeah, I read some of that. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. Um, Yeah, hopefully things get better. I'll see you guys next time.